Hey everybody, Steve Bentley here, and it is Thursday morning, and this is actually, I know it sounds funny, but this is going to be a performance walking session. I'm a performance coach. I've been doing that for 30 years, helping people get ready for Ironman triathlons and marathon running and other shorter distance running and triathlon events. And one of the things that's so important, obviously, in running and races is being efficient. Same thing with triathlon. And the longer you go, the more important efficiency is, because if you're inefficient, a lot of things are going to be happening. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the running component of it, but this is a walking session for people who are new to the running scene, or maybe you're comfortable running, but you want to get a little bit more efficient and you want to reduce the incidence or chance of injury. Because that's the thing, if you're a performance athlete, chances are you're always pushing the envelope, and there's always that weak link in the system that's going to strain out a little bit, and that's an injury popping up. So the more efficient that we can get with our movement and how we're actually landing and pulling and pushing and creating energy and applying it, that's going to either increase our chance of getting injured or decrease it. So what we're going to be talking about today is walking. And I know it sounds kind of funny, but walking is so important to be able to do properly, and so many times people do it improperly, and it's kind of crazy. So here's the thing that I want you to think about first and foremost. So we're going to go over a couple different components, because I've got a lot of people who have been looking for this kind of information. And one of the things that I want you to think about first and foremost is, before you even get out the door, what are you wearing? Because if you're uncomfortable, you're not going to last long. And I get asked often, what's the best exercise? What's the best activity to do for fitness and health and things like that? My easy answer is the one you enjoy doing. Because if you don't enjoy something, you're not going to do it for very long. And if you only do it, even if you do it perfectly, really intensely, and you only do it once or twice, it's not going to be very effective for you long term. So we want to make sure that you're staying as efficient as possible and enjoying the whole process as much as you possibly can. And I usually go to the gym 3-4 times a week. Haven't done that in a couple weeks. No problem. I'm used to training and working out outside. I do a lot of my training when I was racing on my own, hardly ever trained with somebody. So this is really simple for me to get around mentally. But before you head out the door, what are you wearing? What are your shoes, right? Like, I've got some Topo athletic shoes here. They're kind of a trail running shoe. Super comfortable, big wide toe box on there, so my feet aren't going to be cramped up. So get some good footwear, that's important. Socks, again, if you're going to get blisters because you're out there running around or walking and you're uncomfortable, that's not going to be very enjoyable, and you're not going to do this for very long. Shorts, just wear something that's comfortable. I actually wear a little Bentley coaching under tight short there. It's a triathlon short, and that stops me from getting chafed between my thighs because of the muscles in there. I don't want that skin rubbing back and forth together, and by the end of the run, I'm walking like this, like I've got a potato in my pants, because that's going to be uncomfortable. And when you stop doing things in your normal movement pattern, your chance of getting a compensatory injury are really high. And you might not get injured from the actual movement of walking or running, but if something starts feeling uncomfortable and you start changing the way you're walking or running, that's where the injuries usually pop up, and that sucks. So we don't want to have that. And then the other thing is some music. I've got my Bluetooth headset on. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Just enjoy yourself. Think first and foremost, what am I going to enjoy? And if you're going out for a walk or a run or a bike ride or anything and you hate it, stop. Ask yourself, why do I hate this? What am I doing? Is it the intensity? Is it the duration? Dial it back a little bit to the point that you're actually enjoying yourself, and you're going to last a lot longer, first and foremost. And then, because you're actually enjoying yourself, you're going to be able to focus on things that are actually going to get you the most benefit out of that activity. Okay, so here we go. First and foremost, let's talk about posture, because this all leads into the running component, okay? So if we're talking about good posture for running, it's the same thing for walking. We don't want to be bent over like this looking at our phone, because of the weight that you're going to be creating on your neck is going to pull your head forward, and that's going to have your body all out of alignment, and you are not going to be very effective at walking. You're not going to feel comfortable, you're not going to last for very long, and you're going to finish that and you're going to feel like crap. So one of the things we really want to do is focus on good posture. So shoulders back a little bit, not in a weird way. Like you don't want to be like this, showing everybody your chest. Hey, look at me. You want to be just comfortable so that your arms can swing under your shoulders and your head is stacked over your neck, okay? If anything, you want to have a little slight forward bend at your hips, but that's just because as you get going faster and stronger, you're going to be moving in a particular direction, right? You don't want to be leaning backwards and braking with your feet landing out in front of you. We're going to talk a little bit about that when we get down to our feet. But you just want to be stacked, feel comfortable, arms naturally swinging. And we're going to talk about different, intensities. We're going to start easy, and as we go through this, we're going to get a little bit more intense. So for y'all who are just starting your walking program and maybe you're a stroller, but you're not a power walker or performance walker, then we're going to be able to address your thoughts and issues early in this. And then for those who are more adept at walking, have been doing it for longer, or you're a runner, what you're going to find is that just revisiting some of these things are going to help you as well, okay? So, stacking up over your body, feeling like your arms are swinging comfortably. Here's where a lot of people mess up, breathing. We want to make sure that you're breathing deep into your lungs. And so many times people are very shallow breathers. They don't use their diaphragm. That's that big band of tissue underneath your lungs that protects your lungs from your organs, or vice versa. We want to make sure that we're breathing deep into our lungs. And you may not be comfortable using those muscles, right? Those intercostal muscles around your lungs. But you almost want to feel like you're breathing by sucking your diaphragm down. It's going to feel like you're pushing your belly out almost. I don't know if you ever remember seeing like Tour de France riders riding up big mountains, and you look at them on their bike and you're like, man, that guy's got a huge belly, right? Like he's skinny everywhere. He's an elite cyclist, but he's got this big belly. He's just using every square inch of volume in his lungs. And to do that, he's got to really lower his diaphragm and breathe deep into his lungs. And it's very effective at getting maximum oxygen into your system. So you want to be doing that. Not that you necessarily need it, but down the road, as you get going faster and better, you're going to need more oxygen. So you got to teach yourself how to do that early. So even though it might not be something you need, you want to do it now. The next thing that you want to think about doing is just arm movement, keeping in mind that your arms can really be effective at dictating the pace of your legs. And when I get into talking about running technique, I might do that on Sunday maybe, I don't know, or Saturday. But when you're getting faster at running, a lot of that comes with higher turnover and cadence initially, and then we stretch that out to springing off your feet more, and that's where speed comes from. I think a lot of times people try and work on both at the same time, and they shouldn't. They should just work on cadence first and technique, and then work on speed. Okay, so for walking, what we want to do first and foremost, posture, breathing nice and deep into your lungs, and then hip flexors. So hip flexors are going to be these little muscle groups here. If we got psoas, TFL, hip flexors. I'm not a biomechanical person, so I don't know the names of them. Not a personal trainer. I'm a performance coach, not a chiropractor. I'm sure y'all, if you know all the muscle groups that are in there, shoot them down on the comment section, let people know what they are so they can go look at them. But what we're trying to do is increase the range of motion from our legs so we can drive our leg back more. So many times people walk and run too much in front of their body. So they're landing out in front of the center of their mass. And what I want to see them do is land underneath their body and extend behind their body instead of extending in front and coming just to here, because they're so used to sitting and these muscles are so tight all the time, they don't have the extension. So you want to work on that extension. So important. So important for walking, so important for running especially. So we want to work on good hip extension behind our body, landing underneath our body with our feet. I know, y'all didn't think that there was this much involved in walking, did you? There is, because there's this much involved in running, and this is just a less efficient way of moving than running. So if you're actually trying to burn more calories and get more of a workout in, actually walk. Running is actually your body's way of doing it quicker and easier and spending less energy. So you go out there and run, you're actually, for distance, right? Per distance, not time, but per distance, you're actually doing less work when you're running than you are when you're walking. So if you're going to go for a 3-mile run versus a 3-mile walk, you're actually going to spend more energy on that 3-mile walk because you're going to be out there for a lot longer because you're not going as fast, right? It's less efficient. So let's focus on some things. So stacking up our shoulders, right? Pull your shoulder blades back a little bit. You're going to activate those rhomboids. At the end of a walk, if you're doing things properly, your actual upper back should be tight and uncomfortable because you're activating those muscles. Remember, we're trying to get the benefit. You're not just here because you love my haircut. Did that myself. Did you like that? We're here because we want to be better walkers. So one of the things that you want to do is just focus on your technique and your form. Oh, you got such a cool car. Okay, we want to really focus on good technique and form. Stack your shoulders, pull them back a little bit, extending behind our body, right? We want to really open up those hips so that when we push off, remember Newton's third law of physics, I think, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if we're hitting forward when our feet land on the ground because we're overstriding, the equal and opposite reaction is to push us back. We don't want to do that. We want to be pulling back when our feet hit underneath our body, and we want to be pushing off when our leg is behind us, and the reaction is going to be to drive our body forward over top of our feet. That's the feeling that you want to have, okay? Good deep breaths. And here's another thing so many people do wrong all the time, not just when they're walking. Their abdominals. They are never activated. I can't think of any time when my abs aren't activated. And I remember, here's my thought process, rightly or wrongly. I remember being small, way before I got into coaching and athletics, and looking around. You know, back in the 1970s and 80s, it wasn't as prevalent, but I would see people with these big bellies, right? Guys. And I heard it was, well, that's a beer belly. And I was like, beer belly? That guy doesn't drink beer. I know he doesn't drink beer. Because one of them was my dad, and he didn't drink beer, but he had this big beer belly. So I knew it wasn't beer that was doing it. So I started to think, you know, I bet they're just not activating their abs. They're lazy. They're just walking around with inactivated muscles, and the weight of all those organs in your body is just pushing them out. So we've got visceral fat that's going to be an issue, obviously, packing in around your organs. But so many times people are just lazy. As you're walking, as you're driving your car, as you're sitting at work, as you're doing anything, activate your abs. Remember the other day we did that strength circuit where we're working on that isometric contraction, right? You're not changing the length of your muscle, of your abs. You're activating it, so you're tensing it to create rigidity and strength, core strength. And when you do that, you're actually able now to drive your body more effectively when you put power into your legs, because your abs aren't going to absorb that energy. You're going to drive forward. So shoulders back, pulled down a little bit, head over your body, landing your feet underneath your body, pulling back, and springing off your toes when your foot's as far behind you as you can. This is going to drive you forward so that you can actually get better movement. Now again, do you need to do all that in order to walk properly? Absolutely not. You don't. You don't have to think about any of this. You're still going to move, right? It's the same thing though for running. You're still going to move. Even if you do it wrong, your momentum is going to carry you over top of your legs, and you're going to go in the direction that you think you want to go. And you go, hey, I'm doing it. But could you be more efficient? Could you have less damage and impact force? Absolutely. But that all starts here when you're walking. So if I'm coaching somebody who hasn't been out running for a long time, I'm going to have them get out walking and doing this exact stuff that we're talking about here so that they can become a better, more efficient walker and work on all those muscle groups at a low intensity level for a long period of time so that they actually get the benefit from that walking, so that when they get running, they don't also have to deal with all that. Because like I said earlier in this little session here, your upper back is going to be really dialed in and activated by the time you've done this. You go for half an hour, hour and a half walk, you're going to finish that and go, wow, my hips are really stretched out and fatigued. My upper back is tight and sore, right? You're going to feel all those things kicking in, and that's a good thing. You want that. And It's like anything else. It's a stress and response situation. So we want to stress our system out by doing this and allow it to adapt and recover so that you get that stress response system kicking in. Okay, here's another one. A lot of times I see people don't do very effectively, and we're almost done, is glutes. I don't know about you, but I want to have a nice strong butt. I want to have those muscles that can control the rest of my body, because that's all part of the core section there. I want to have a good strong back, because that's also going to help me protect my lower back. So if I have good strong glutes, good strong back, good strong core, I'm way less likely to have a sore lower back. And as we get older, that's what sort of afflicts a lot of people, right? They get that sort of compression in their spine because they're bending forward like that, and they can't handle it because they're so weak everywhere. And they twinge something, and then your body locks down, it goes into spasm, and then you can't do anything for a while. It usually takes like a whole week of agony to get through that. So we don't want to have that. So work on your glutes. And one of the things that you can do as you're walking along and you're driving your hips back is to activate that butt, right? Really activate your glutes as you're driving back. Feel it. Do you need to do that to walk? Absolutely you don't. You can just walk along. Like I can just walk with my shoulders relaxed, my belly out, my cadence slows down, right? My turnover, and I'm not really doing anything. Am I out and about enjoying myself and enjoying the day and being nice and relaxed and calm? Yes, absolutely I am, but I'm not performance walking. I'm not activated. So now if I dial everything back in and I start to tighten up my abs, I'm breathing deeply into my system, right, getting lots of oxygen in. I'm landing underneath my body, pulling back with my legs, driving my hips back, right, driving my legs back, opening up and stretching those hips and squeezing my glutes at the back end of that stride. That's awesome. That's what I'm looking for. Pushing off with my feet, with my calves. That's really what we're looking for here. And if you're having a hard time as you're walking, feeling your glutes activate, here's a great thing that you can do. And I have a lot of people do this initially. I find especially women have a hard time activating their glutes. I don't know if it's wearing, higher heels that sort of shuts them off in general, but just lay on the ground, not out here on the road because there's cars coming by, but just lay on the ground on your back and just squeeze one butt cheek. Just squeeze it and activate it. Hold it tight for a couple seconds, relax it, squeeze the other one. Teach yourself how to activate your glute, right? Isolate that butt. Don't just squeeze your leg and fake it by having your hamstring kick in. Squeeze your glute, hold it, and then back and forth, on and off. Just get used to doing that. I know it sounds lame, but that's where it all's gonna start from. So, quick recap and then we're done. Really, just get outside, get good equipment on, hydrate beforehand. That's important. I'm in a community here where they've got little water fountains around, so I don't bring any water with me because I can get it out there. But really, what I want you to think about doing, just having good posture, good muscle activation, good intensity for your walking. Start where you're comfortable, but build up from there and really get to that point where you're just humming along with your walking and understanding that, hey, this is a less efficient way to move than I would be if I was actually out there running. And then after weeks of doing this, you're going to be so much stronger in those areas that when you decide to start running, if that's something that you want to do, you're going to feel a whole lot more comfortable. The people that start running and they haven't actually mastered walking, you're just asking for trouble. You're going to be miserable. You're not going to feel good. You've got the pounding to deal with. And then you've got all this other stuff. Because when you do this walking effectively and you're done, you're going to think you felt like you went out running. You're going to be that sore if you do it really intensely. And there was no running. So don't think that you can go out for a run out of the blue and feel like, hey, you can handle that. A lot of that stress that you're going to create from going out running is going to be from the muscles that you're working, and you can do it just as well, and I'd say even better if you're walking, because we're not going hard enough to tire ourselves out too quickly, so we can do it for longer. And it's that length of time that you're doing something that's going to give you the actual benefits. So I'll pause for a second. So keep all that in mind. Good shoulder, neck positioning. Activate your abs. Breathe deep into your stomach. Pull that oxygen down into your lungs. land underneath your body, pull back a bit with your legs as you're pulling your body over top of your feet. Open up your hips, drive back with your glutes, and then get that leg back forward again for another rotation or series. Pump those arms. You might look like a little goofy, but that's okay. You're gonna be fitter than the next person. And all that fitness can lead to better health if you do some great things. So later today, I'm gonna be going over my nutrition regime that helps bolster my immune function, because there's a difference between fitness and health. And some of the fittest people I know are some of the unhealthiest, because their immune system is so compromised and they don't necessarily do things that are bolstering up their health. So fitness does not equal health. It can be correlated, but it doesn't mean you're really healthy just because you're fit. So guys, thanks for jumping in. We will chat with you soon. I'm gonna be out here for probably another hour. Then I'll be back. I've got a meeting at my house. Somebody's coming over to fix my bike, a Velo fix, and then I'll do my little nutrition, immune system, health routine later on this morning or early this afternoon. Have a great day. Thanks for checking in and enjoy that walk. Cheers, bye.